Welcome to the Sports Rewind Digital Podcast, your weekly sporting news channel. Here again today with the fellas, BJ and Davo. Fellas, how
There we
are
go.
we? Mate, big week of sport. You blokes, what's Randall in there? The dirty water.
Dirty water, mate.
Bit of dirty water for a Tuesday night. Big week of sport, fellas. We've got heaps to cover tonight. We've got, the golf. Bit of NFL news, bit of NHL news, MLB. What else do we got? Bit of cricket, NRL, MLB, and I forget anything. There's heaps. But before that, how was your weekend, Davo?
Busy, mate. You know, it's like a long weekend. All these chores, because there's no sport on. You've got all the chores to do around the house that you've been putting off for ages. So, bit of cleaning out the garage, get the table tennis table in, and the battle royal now that's happening within the family. So, it's fun and games when you put four of us down there. It's like ping pong balls flying everywhere. If you don't walk off with a welt or a bruise, there's something wrong. So, pretty quiet actually, but it was nice catching up with family. It's good to have a weekend away from things, but yeah, missing sport.
Yeah. Mate, table tennis clash would have to be the ultimate family sport. A few drinks, a few games of table tennis. Who's been victorious so far?
Mate, surprisingly, Ashley, our 10-year-old, the hand-eye coordination, it's like you think you've hit a good shot, all of a sudden, bang, there's just a backhand and the ball's back on the table. I'm like, how the hell did you get that? So, but plenty of laughter so far. As I say, some bruises and plenty of laughter, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Randall, what went on for you for the weekend, mate?
Same old, mate. No sport. It was good. Quiet weekend to relax and just kick back. There was a considerable amount of alcohol consumed, as always, in the Randall household. Stayed off the chocolate eggs, which was good. Unlike the kids and the wife, they helped themselves to those. We did get to the footy. Finally got to a Knights game on Sunday arvo or Sunday evening, which is good. Again, excessive amount of alcohol. And then we finished it off with a little gym session yesterday, actually. First time in a couple of years to do any kind of gym work. So I'm paying for it today. But I'm making sure I'm hydrated.
That's right. Stay hydrated. Davo, the gym, mate. Any thoughts on that one?
Who's Jim?
Yeah, never heard him.
No, or as Homer would say, Gime. What's a Gime?
Mate, it's been a little while since you stepped into the gym. I hope you're feeling all right tomorrow, that second day soreness, that's for sure. But definitely, trying to go back to back with premierships, I hear. So it's good to see you at the gym, mate.
I need to do something.
Not many
what about you, mate?
Third and fourth graders. No, not much for us, mate.
What was your long weekend?
Pretty quiet long weekend. Easter, got to spend lots of time with the kids and lots of walks and went to the park and that sort of stuff. My kids are away camping at the moment. Gracie caught her first wave on a mal today, so that was pretty cool. She's pretty pumped, but other than that, yeah, pretty quiet at our household until tomorrow, until they get back, and then it'll be all go again. I think they got dancing tomorrow afternoon or something, so they'll get into it. I'm looking forward to getting out and having a bit of a hit and a throw tomorrow night for baseball training. I won't get to a game for a couple of weeks, but it'll be good to have a bit of a throw and get out there with the boys. So see what happens.
You're even playing this year, mate?
Mate, shift work, I can get about 10 games in.
All talk at the moment.
Yeah, I think first game's back's Belmont 29th or something like that. So,
of course it is.
Way to get thrown in the deep end. But yeah, well, it'll be good to be back.
Get a few bullpens in, champ.
Oh yeah, mate, I won't be
what
throwing.
Are they?
the bloke above you on the screen will be throwing a lot more innings than what I do. That's for sure. Look at him go. He's already a 5-inning veteran for the Toronto Tigers. So, how did you pull up, Dave? I know you said you were all right, but yeah, all good.
Yeah, not a drama. Sort of, I think it hurt a little bit more just bowling than throwing, but yeah, all good, ready to go again.
Good to go, Skip. Did you hear that?
I heard it.
Yeah, he's good to go, mate.
We caught up with old Darbs. Caught up with Darbs on Sunday night while we're out and about. And Darbs couldn't believe, like I said, I'm still throwing. He's like, what? He couldn't believe. Still going. I said, mate, arm hasn't fallen off yet, so you keep going. Tony Endo's the guy you aspire to be. He's still throwing at 73. So it's like, well, ever the body's going to let me do it, I'm going to keep doing it. And while coaches still let me do it anyway.
Well, there's a bloke you should have recruited, Davo. He's got a Tigers hat at home. Back in the day, hasn't he?
Yeah, Darbs, mate. And that 12 to 6.
We all played first grade with him there at Toronto.
Well, he said he often listens. So, Darbs, if you're listening tonight, mate, grab a uniform.
Darbs, mate, spent had a few shared rooms with you on a few different tours, mate. It's always a pleasure. We'll have to get up, maybe head back to Darwin for a bit of bacon and eggs and some noodle box sometime. But good to hear you're still going well, Darbs.
And he was out with Youngie. I didn't get the chance to talk to Youngie, but he was out with Youngie, and as you said, there's another Toronto boy.
You beauty.
You have to get him back for Old Boys Day.
He played a fair few seasons, old Youngie. Quality player.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, the Tidbits. The Tidbits are sponsored by Game Day Sportswear again this week. Game Day Sportswear is your local Aussie supplier of all your sporting, workwear and school uniforms. Proud sponsors of many local clubs, schools and associations. So, fellas were rocking the hard 90 shirts there. Randall, those nipples look pretty hard too. Look at you go, old
hard
son.
90-degree.
You'll be oldie. I think you're going to kick us off with the Tidbits tonight, Randall, actually.
Beauty, what did I have? Oh, that's right. This little clanger come up the other day. I was sitting there scrolling through. This is a junior college in Ohio. I tell you what, imagine being the coach now the opposition and seeing these three names come up in the lineup. Alex Rodriguez, the third, Kirk Gibson, and Joe Morgan. How would you feel as an opposition manager in junior college seeing these guys come up?
Be pretty handy lineup.
Oh, mate. Good little what have you got? A couple of Hall of Famers there.
Interesting to see what happens to these three gents.
Yeah, well, they'll be put in their little black book. Keep an eye on these guys.
He'll be all right.
Gibson there's a right-hander. We know the good Gibson was a lefty.
What else you got for us, Randall?
Yeah, so Fernando Tatis Jr. This has been a little bit of a controversial thing happening at the moment. He's on rehab assignment playing for, I think he's playing for El Paso Chihuahuas. I find it a bit odd, you're serving a suspension for performance-enhancing drugs, but you're allowed to go and play minor league and play rehab assignments and get ready for your major league return. So he absolutely crushed the ball. I don't know, did you guys see the clip of that?
Yeah.
He tattooed it. It was absolutely crushed. And someone's jumped onto Twitter, as they do, and said, Cade McClure, the pitcher, will be telling people for years about the time he gave up an absolute nuke to Fernando Tatis Jr. He straight up responded with, Cheetah hits a home run in a rehab assignment during steroid suspension, whatever.
Good answer.
What do you think? Cool. Should he be allowed to be going and getting in reps and getting prepared to play again in a major league while he's serving a drug suspension?
No, absolutely not.
I think
it's the same here. Imagine Ponga finally gets done for his cocaine abuse at the, allegedly, what substance that he may have taken, and then he goes and plays for
Reserve grade.
or for the Scorps, or
Yeah.
in the local league. Like, if you're suspended from one division, you should be gone from all.
That's right. I agree. Especially with if they want to stamp out performance enhancing drugs and have a hard stance on it, they should be doing that. Like you look at if I think what Bauer and all these sort of guys that were facing court, the legal matters, they weren't allowed to play. They weren't allowed to go and get reps in. Like, they were completely cut off completely from the sport. So how should this be any different? He's done the crime. He's not doing the time. He's going to walk back in and he's going to be ready to go at the end of his suspension. He's already been getting his reps in, getting his work done.
Well, I hope he's doing it for free.
Wow. Yeah.
Should be gone. And the only way he can play would be like some sort of independent ball or something like that, where it's not, something that maybe not aligned with the MLB. But yeah, for me, it's a no as well.
Go to the bananas.
Yeah, even still, what ramifications are there if he gets hurt playing independent ball when he's under contract and serving a suspension? Like, there's just, there's just so many questions.
Yeah, sit him down. Yeah, I agree. What about this one? The pitcher Brady Ware threw a no-hitter and hit the cycle in the same game. Absolute weapon, mate. Shohei Ohtani, I haven't seen him do that yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's a fair effort, though. Like, one would be career-wise, let alone having two and in the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see, this two-way player stuff starting to, just starting to creep in a little bit more. We're starting to see a little bit more about it. Hopefully it means, they're not just pigeonholing these kids. Yeah, he's showing 98, 99. That's it. You're a pitcher. Don't touch a bat. Hopefully they're letting these kids that can do a bit of both actually do both.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Why not? Our F1 in Melbourne also set some records, most red flags ever in a Formula One race. Now, I watched the arse end of the race, and laps 55, 57, red flag. Something happened in lap 58 as well. I think they end up going under yellows for the finish or something like that. So, mate, the F1 setting records. It's all for the Aussies.
Giving the crowd what they want.
That's it. Dave, over to you.
Yes, and mine. So, interesting one, this one. So, the most Major League Baseball seasons stealing at least one base without being caught at all. So, you think about that and you think, okay, well, probably Ricky Henderson style person or something like that. No, Greg Maddux with 10. He did 10 seasons in a row without being caught while stealing a base. So, it's not the first person that comes to mind when you think of that stat, is it?
No, it's probably the last, or one of the last.
Pretty crazy.
But it just shows you what sort of brain he had. Is that he'd probably know. He'd know the pitches, he'd know the timing, and they're not expecting him to go. And, crazy.
Yeah. Another person that comes to mind would be Ben Terry. He for some reason had the same knack of being able to do that. Still does.
Paul Inkpin.
Yeah.
Inky was the same.
Well. Yeah, right.
He was sneaky.
Yeah, a flash from the past too, Hudson.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah. I don't know. I guess these days they're a bit more protected. It's like the quarterbacks, don't run as much and they slide before getting tackled and things like that. Is it a bit of a case of that? Or now pitchers don't even get on, but you know what I mean? Possibly.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But you talk about pitchers hitting. The fun fact, in 2014, Madison Bumgarner had 2 grand slams, and that's more than Derek Jeter hit in his entire career. So you want something out of left field, like pitchers who can hit. There you go. Like we just mentioned, Bumgarner, 2 Grand Slams in the 1 year, and more than Jeter hit in his whole career, which is surprising on Jeter. I thought he might have hit a couple more than that.
Yeah.
No, Jeter wasn't an overly big power hitting guy, really, was he? Though he was, he probably had a pretty high career batting average, but he just seemed to be clutch. That bloke he just got the hits when they need to have hits. But Bumgarner, how many home runs has he got, Hudson? Do you know? You don't happen to know a rough number off the top of your head?
No idea.
Being a Giants fan.
He's got a few though.
Yeah, like I sit back and think, and I could probably count 10, pretty easily. He had that knack. He had that knack, didn't he?
Got his hacks in.
He was often called on as a pinch hitter too. Like if they wanted to save a guy, he could handle the bat. So many a time he got called upon to pinch hit.
Pretty cool. Something we don't see again today, other than Shoei. So hopefully
like you just said, mate, he never got cheated out there. Like
no,
he got up there and he was hacking and he was going hard.
Yeah,
he was swinging. He was pressing square all day, power swing.
Just like Bartolo.
Just like Bartolo, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, that's our tidbits for today, fellas. Thanks again to Game Day Sportswear for jumping on and sponsoring this week's tidbits. All right, we're going to move right along. Talking quickly, the Masters that's just been played out. Do you guys catch any of that over the weekend?
Mate, only a little bit. I was watching when the tree got blown over, just at the right time, I guess.
And there's people that were between the branches.
Oh, crazy. And then on Sunday, I think when I while cooking breakfast for all the family, I flipped it on and it was raining. So that was about as much as I watched.
It was a weather-affected tournament, and was it 30 holes in the last day for Ram or something? So that's a fair effort. Like it's pressure enough to play 18 in the day at Augusta, let alone 30. But one of the highlights for us was even though he didn't play that well, Cam Smith out of the fairway bunker with a 3-wood to throw it on the green for an eagle. Like they're saying it's one of the greatest shots, forget bunker shots, just greatest shots ever made. And
did you hear the sound of it?
Yeah. Oh, like it's great. But yeah, I love the Masters. There's something about Augusta and the way it is and all that it's sort of worthwhile getting up and watching. And Aussies were up there for a little while, but no, they faded away. But Ram, he was just solid.
He was
solid right through.
I think you touched on it there. 33 holes or something in the last day you had to play. It was something crazy. Brooks Koepka second with 8 under. John Ram got 12 under. Big one for me.
Oh, sorry, you go. Sorry, mate.
You go. No, you're right.
I was going to say, wasn't Mickelson equal second? And he
was equal second. He had a 65 on round 4.
That's a record for someone over 50.
I was about to say he's 52 years old. And, there was a lot of crap put on the Live Golf about, taking all these older blokes and whatever. I think 3 out of the top 6 from that tournament were from the Live Golf. And I thought it was pretty cool to see Mickelson hit that 65. He didn't have to play, 30-something holes on that day, though. But, what an incredible way to end the tournament. I think our first place Aussie was about 25th or 26th. Yeah, 26th. Ryan Fox and I think Cam Smith was 4 over in 34th or something like that. So.
Yeah, day started well but crashed. But you've also got to give it to Mickelson that he knew, like, he was approached beforehand, said, look, do you want to do the rounds of interviews and all that like everyone else? And he said, no, I don't want to take, like, sort of put it on him and live golf and all that. He said, we're here for the Masters, the tournament that it is. I'm happy to sit out of all interviews until after the tournament had occurred. So you've got to give it to him for that. He could have come in and said, live golf, this, that. But no, he took the high road, just sort of said, no, let my golf do the talking till afterwards. And it's all about the event. So that was good to see.
Good. It was good to see. Mate, the cricket. There was a bit of cricket over the last few days. Let's talk about that, though. What happened there?
Yeah, well, that could easily lead into a tidbit, really. I don't remember the two teams. I'm hopeless with the IPL team names, but one team came up, final over, needed 28 off the last 5 balls to win. So most times you think, heck, no worries, I've got this. So second ball of the over, full toss, outside off stump, boom, 6. Okay, that's a start. Next ball, flicked off his pads, 6. So the commentators starting to go, hang on, we're a chance here. So fourth ball of the over, 6. And fifth ball of the over, another 6. Came down the last ball. All he needed was a boundary to do it. Our mates just pitched it in short. Nice cross bat, straight back, another 6. So 5 6s in a row to finish the game to win it. So, and the crowd just went nuts. Like, Indian crowds are fanatical to start with, but this was next level and something I hadn't seen before, and was just great to be up watching it, to see it live.
Insane. Absolutely insane. I only watched the highlights of it, and I didn't watch the whole innings or anything, but yeah, absolutely insane. Did you catch that one, Randall?
No, man, I didn't watch any of it at all. I don't even know what I was doing. I was probably trying to sleep. Probably trying to sleep off the squats and deadlifts.
Fair enough. Mate, another one for you, Randall. During the week, I know you're a big Baltimore Ravens fan. Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes, big
Pretty
signing.
solid 1-year signing, mate.
Yeah. What was it, 15 million or something?
I didn't see what he got. All I knew was,
something like that guaranteed. Yeah, massive signing. I know. It was one of the things that Lamar Jackson had been very vocal about, was to try and get him on board. So I don't know. What do you do now? 15 million guaranteed, 1-year deal. Yeah. Yeah.
What's Lamar going to do now?
Oh, mate. He's at that point, though, now, isn't he, where if he doesn't stick to his guns, it talks cheap. Everything that he's said is going to be worth nothing if he goes back on his on his lols now.
Yeah.
We've got 2 weeks till the draft, so
I think once the draft happens, I think that'll be when we sort of find out a bit more and some things start to play out. But
wouldn't you think think before then as well, though? You might want to look at signing him before.
Should have already signed him.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're a stalemate. He wants more than what they're offering to pay. The problem is no one else is coming to the table.
And that's been shown so far too, hasn't it? It's like no one's even counted what he's sort of asking. So it's not like they're toing and froing to try and work out the details. There's been no one come out even throw a figure at him.
No.
Yeah.
Which says a lot.
One of you sent me a quality meme of last week, I think it was, and all the teams lining up for Lamar Jackson. It was just a big line of nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got to sort it out, hey?
Well, that's a problem. Like we've said a million times, no manager. Yeah, fair enough. He has his reasons for that, but it hurts you. It really does. It's now personal, and he's probably not approaching it with an open mind. He's butthurt because they didn't come to the party with what he wanted, and nobody's come to the party, and now he's got egg on his face.
That's it.
He come out. He was just, he come out and said that, he's happy now to take less money with less guaranteed to go somewhere else, even though they offered him something, a shorter deal. It was less money, but it was still a portion guaranteed, which is still more than what he's getting now with his franchise tag. And he was still like, nah, but I'll go somewhere else for less money.
Yeah.
Now that's just stupid. I think it is, yeah.
Mate, if they learn to play the fourth quarter, they'll go all right. Like how many times this year did they bum out on that fourth quarter?
Yeah. Anyway. Signing Odell Beckham Jr., it's massive for their offense. Well,
huge.
Why wouldn't you want to be thrown to a bloke like that?
Yeah.
Still keeping the other guys that are there, plus his running game.
It's got to be good for his future, I guess, agreements with whether it's Baltimore or other teams. If he does, it's going to be in his favour.
Yeah, mind you, who knows what Odell Beckham Jr. is going to do as well.
Yeah. He's only on a 1-year deal, so.
Yeah, he's only returning back from injury and shit like that too. So, who knows?
Can he stay on the field? That's a big if with him.
But in saying that, he's only $15 million.
Yeah,
he's not a $50 million player that hasn't stayed on the field for 2 years either. So anyone can throw to him.
Fair enough.
Maybe
another one you brought up with us today. I think it was you, Randall, might have brought this one up. Is the Boston Bruins. What a quality run they're having. I know they've had a fair season. My sister's a Boston Bruins fan, and she's been spruiking about them for a fair bit. But 63 games in the regular season, broke the record. I think they've got a couple more games to go, haven't they, Randall?
I think they've still got another 2 before the playoffs start. I think. Don't quote me on that. When I watched the game the other day, I think it was Sunday maybe, when they tied the 62-game record. Yeah, and I'm sure I heard them say that they've got 3 more games to break that record. Could have been wrong, but I'm sure that's what they said. So the next day, obviously they won. I think they played the Philadelphia Flyers and they beat them 4-2 or something. Can't remember. That was a whole.
I haven't followed much of it this year, sort of just bits and pieces. Other than hearing, they were on a massive streak early on.
Yep.
But I haven't heard much else who's in the finals or anything like that. So we might look at that for next week's show. What about the NRL? Those Mighty Knights got a win.
Oh, mate.
The Tigers didn't. How'd your Bulldogs go, Davo?
They got flogged by Souths. Pretty much expected that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there was a bit going on the weekend, actually. A few injuries for the Tigers and the Knights, which might hurt down the track.
It was interesting seeing Benji run the team, though. Did you see the snippets that Sheens was sort of sitting up the back more and Benji was down front with the headset on? So it's slowly passing the torch, I'd say.
Yeah, I think when you're the big name like Sheens and you've got a couple of rookie coaches, I did hear them talk about this maybe yesterday, that some, would it be unusual for him if he's handing over next year anyway? Why wouldn't you at points be going, here, guys, we're in the game, call the shots? Like he should be an experienced coach like that on the other way as these guys are coming up. About mentoring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it might not be as strange. Might not be as strange as it seems, but with their season, the way it's going, the first thing that came to my mind watching the game was, gee, he might be on the outer a lot quicker than you'd expect. What was the point of him even being there? He should have just gone, They're struggling already. What are they? 0 for 6.
0 6.
0 6. Like, there's not much coming back from that already. Like, pretty well. I don't think you'll make the finals. So why not flick over to these next year's coaches that are sitting there anyway?
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. You've already lost 6, so it's
nothing
not
to lose.
Get
everything
any
to gain.
worse. That's right.
So
how much are they paying him though?
Yeah, well,
do they want to pay out again? Another coach paid out, because that's been the case the last few coaches at the Tigers here.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to get any easier for them. They lost Adam Dewey. He's probably been one of their better players. I think they've said ACL. Or have they confirmed ACL? Do you know, Hudson?
Yeah, that's his 3rd ACL in however many years.
Yeah.
He's thinking about hanging
that
him
might
up.
Be a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, how many times can that be repaired?
Well, mate, the Knights aren't in much better of a boat. We've lost their hooker again, Jaden Brayley again. So that's what he came here end of 2019 to start the 2020 season. He's played 38 games.
Yeah.
In 3 years. So he's just done his 2nd ACL. And also, I think last year in the preseason, he ruptured his Achilles. So he hasn't had much luck, the poor bugger.
Yeah.
And then we lost Addo Carr.
Addo Carr's another one that's gone now. Did they say how long he's gone for?
No, I know it's at least a month, I think. So
I did hear
past first state of origin anyway.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. And there was one other. Can't remember who it was. Someone has Tiari Martin. He, against the Knights playing for the Warriors, he did something too. It might have been a broken fibula. So he's 6 to 8 weeks as well. So there's a few casualties over the weekend, unfortunately. But yeah, a couple of upsets too.
Was a couple of upsets, yeah.
I know I certainly didn't pick. I didn't pick the Raiders to beat the Broncos.
No.
I didn't pick the Titans to beat the Dragons. Actually, that was probably a toss the coin, but
I had that one. Yeah, I thought Titans have been playing pretty well, and Dragons have been hot and cold. So it's one I got right.
Storm turned it on, 28-8 over the Roosters. It was pretty good. Freaking Rabbitohs, mate. What happened there, Davo? Bulldogs just didn't
we're missing half a side, and that's it. We're missing half a side to start with, and Rabbitohs are slowly starting to play better. So I thought it was inevitable that we'd get touched up a bit.
Yeah, so they did to 50-16. So that rules them out for winning the competition now, Davo. No team's ever been beaten or had 50 put on them and gone on to win the comp. So you just put a line through them now.
Pretty much. I thought we'd be around 10th or maybe into the 8 this year, but I didn't really have us as true contenders yet.
No, I probably agree with that. But yeah, the ladder changed a little bit over the weekend. Broncos still out the front. Panthers in at second on equal points with the Storm, the Dolphins, the Warriors, and the Titans. Oh, and the Roosters, all on 8 points. So it's tightened up at the top there. Then you got the Knights in 8th place on 7. Manly in 9th place, also on 7 after they had their draw. And then you move down to like the Bunnies, Sharks, Dragons, Bulldogs, all on 6. So, still only 2 points into the 8.
And who else was left out of that?
I was going to say,
Parramatta, aren't they on 2 or something?
Parramatta 2.
Parramatta have 4 points, Cowboys 4 points, Raiders 4 points. And then the
anyone else?
The Wooden Spoon Tigers on the big duck egg. 0 for 6.
You beauty.
But it
tough.
says something about Wayne Bennett, though, doesn't it? Like no one thought Dolphins be any good this year. They thought, here's a wooden spoon coming up. But to have them where they are, I know it's only round 6, but just to have the start they've had, it says a lot about the guy and how he coaches, doesn't it?
It does, and you look at their roster on paper, and they have got a good side. Like you look at those Melbourne, forwards and second rowers that they've plucked out of Melbourne Storm that have been very good for a long period of time, and you drop them into that team. It gives you a good foundation, especially any players you're trying to develop. These guys have been there and done it, so they already have a good work ethic. They already know what they need to be doing. They just do that. Everyone around them can follow. They can already be leaders. So it's good. It was a good formula.
Yeah.
But they'll be tested this week. Thursday night they play the Rabbitohs. So
yeah,
that'll be a real test for them, I think.
Where at?
It's at Suncorp.
Okay, well that's a bit of a bonus for them. But the way the Bunnies play, that'll be a good game.
Should be.
That's a bit of a toss of the coin, that one.
Yeah, there's a couple of good looking games. You got the Roosters playing the Sharks on Friday night. You got Storm and Manly on Friday night. So all teams that should be thereabouts. Bulldogs and Eels, that should be interesting.
Those Eels.
How about the poor old Tigers? They're finally going to get themselves maybe some points. They've got to play the bye.
They won't win that.
I have heard they are long shots.
I reckon they should
over $2.
Probably start Mad Monday that weekend.
Don't worry, mate. They're shorter than what the Knights are to beat the Panthers, so it's all good.
Fair enough. Hey, how was the crowd there at the Knights the other week?
It was good, mate. Probably not as big as I expected it would be. I think the official number was about 18,500. I think so.
Yeah, right. Still
being an Easter Sunday, the weather was good. I honestly thought it would have been a little bit busier, but mate, probably people aren't turning up because they've got to pay $9.50 or whatever for a 4X. So
yeah, that'll do it.
They need to sort that out pretty quick. That's bloody ridiculous. $10 for a mid-strength beer.
It's sport everywhere, mate. Now you go to any sporting event, and that's what you're copping.
And that was with my members discount too. So
member,
they can jam that.
Yeah, that's pretty average. $9.50. What is it, like $15 for a half-strength Spirit?
Yeah, didn't even go there, mate. I just.
Yeah,
it's about
$12 to $15 for a can of mid-strength. Yeah, which you just feel like drinking Coke. That's all you're doing.
No point. I'll just load up before I go.
Fair call. All right, fellas. I know we've talked lots during the week about MLB between us. We got a little bit of a new segment here, the MLB wins of the week. And to kick us off, this one, an absolute cracker, is this one. The Tampa Bay Rays are 10-0.
Crazy.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Have you seen some of the stats that, like the pitching?
The pitching's unbelievable. Yeah.
So there's two pitchers that have thrown 13 innings for an ERA of 0. So Drew Rasmussen, I always get his name wrong, and Jeffrey Springs both thrown 13 innings for no runs. McClanahan's thrown 12 innings for an ERA of 1.5, and Eflin has thrown 11 innings for a 3.27 ERA. Pitching's been outstanding, but obviously they need to score runs as well to win games, and they've been getting it done. So
yeah, and it's not just one bloke either. Like there's a whole bunch of them that are all hitting.
Yeah.
So
look at today's game. It was 1-0 against Boston. It was a low Lowe hit a home run in the 8th.
Yeah.
That was the sole run. It's not like you're not really expecting it from him. So different guys stepping up, and with their pitching, 1 run is more than enough.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Their pitching's been outstanding, but as you said, there's, a fair few blokes hitting close to 300. Randy Azarina, 359. Wanda Franco's playing well, 317. Brandon Lowe was off to a really slow start, but 292 now, so going really well.
Yeah, there's a few others too. Like I know Tyler Walls he's got tendonitis, I think, in his elbow, but he had a pretty good start. Who else? Harold Ramirez has been hitting well when needed. Was the other one maybe Isaac Paredes or someone like that? Maybe.
Yeah, he's up there. I think he's hitting 290. He's had.
They were
9 hits.
They were the Tigers 12 months ago. Not really doing too much, not getting an everyday start. Again, it just shows Tampa Bay. They seem to get these guys that nobody else wants. Like even their pitching staff, they're always, Rule 5 picks, or they're picking up these minor league, trades.
Yeah.
And they're turning them into somebodies. Like
maybe we might see a documentary come out like Moneyball in 3 or 4 years' time of some way that they've, looked at their scouting reports and gone, I like this guy, and I think it's great.
And they're not throwing money.
Yeah.
It's not like they're throwing big money at anyone. We all know they're not a big money ball club.
Yeah.
And every year they seem to have these new people come through, and they win games. They win games, and then then they ship them off for someone else, and they make these random trades, and you think, why the hell would you trade him for these nufties? And then all of a sudden, bam, these nufties aren't nufties.
It makes you ask questions of teams like the A's and all that a similar payroll, like the Rays have never had a high payroll, but they've found. I know the A's did it for a couple of years in the early sort of Moneyball thing, but not recently. Like they keep turning over players just as much as the Rays do, but the Rays have found that secret formula to make it work.
Yep. Yeah, whoever the scouts are there must be unreal.
Tell you what, though, tomorrow they will lose because I'm going to watch their game. I have only watched their highlights. Every time I switch on a game for somebody, whoever it might be, usually the Giants, they'll lose. So tomorrow,
do it, mate. They're playing Boston again tomorrow. So, yep, do that for us.
No worries. I'm going to have to make sure I get up that little bit earlier than Dave. I was planning to sleep in, but
But the Red Sox, they've missed Duvall. Duvall's out with a busted wrist. He started well for Boston, and he might have been a difference maker, but who knows?
Was it a fractured wrist?
Yeah.
Is that what I saw? Yeah. So what did he miss? He'll miss what, a couple of months?
I think they said 6 to 8 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So up to 2 months.
Yeah. Just that shitty. It's that not real good spot being on the wrist, hitting and stuff like that. You get one that jars, and he could be in all sorts. Yeah.
What about this one, fellas? This was pretty cool to see. It's hard to explain this one, isn't it? The Chattanooga Lookouts 7 beat the Rocket City Trash Pandas 5 with a no-hitter. All right, so no-hitter, but wait, a 7-5 loss. They led 3-0 with the bases loaded, walked in a run. There was a drop fly ball that brings in 3. They then hit the next 3 hitters, and then a wild pitch made it 7-3. Then the Rocket City scored 2 more in the bottom of the inning to make it 7-5. It's just a whole lot to unpack here. What is going on?
That's why you love baseball. You love baseball. You look at that and you think, how the hell can that happen? But it does. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the game, is that you look at that and you think, how do you score 7 runs with getting no hit?
Yeah.
That is called
If-
falling apart.
Mate, if you walk somebody and hit the next 3 batters, though, even if you're on a no-hitter, would you not bring him out? What's going on there?
You have
Like-
to.
Yeah.
It would have that's it. Like, you hit him, you're in the 7th dig, so your pitch count's getting up already. And if
Yeah.
you hit someone, then walk the next few, like there's at least a dozen pitches. There's at least a dozen pitches thrown. So you'd be at close to or past your limit. And if you've done that, I'd be saying, thanks, mate. Give us a ball, pat him on the bum, off you go.
Great game.
Well, what did you say that? You said it was loaded bases and a dropped fly ball or something.
Yeah, drop fly ball and they scored 3 off that.
No,
So
I know he's
months-
like you say. I
plus
know he's on a
2
no
out.
hitter. I know he's on a no hitter, but you're up 3-0, and you load the bases, and obviously it wasn't a hit, so it's either errors or walks. Like Dave said, he's already gone. He should be
Yeah.
already gone before the dropped 2-out fly ball to score runs,
Absolutely.
and then to go on and walk a guy and hit 3 on top of that. Yeah.
Interesting.
He should have been well gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have had him
agree.
done. I would have had him done a lot earlier than that.
3-run
Yeah.
game as soon as, to be honest, 3-run game as soon as that first run is on, I'm probably pulling him.
You,
I might be
that's a bit
harsh,
harsh,
but-
Randall, but
Might be, but mate. It's
He probably would have enjoyed it if you were pulling him.
I'd say so.
most blokes do.
Right, well, you are talking to the guy that will get you off the mound down there, Davo, in 3rd grade for Toronto Tigers.
Get you
I
off
hope
the mound or off on the mound.
Either. I hope we
Both.
don't see it. That's all I want to say. Save those eyes. Another interesting stat I heard this morning. I was driving up Cessnock Way this morning, and I was listening to the MLB, and this little stat come through. Judge got a walk, and he's been on base for the last 43 games. And in those last 43 games, he has an average of 383. Pretty impressive. So that dates back to about August last year of Judge dominating.
It's not bad.
Crazy
is it?
numbers. I did see it also somewhere today, reckoning that he's on target for 71 home runs this year. So
How many has he hit?
4 or 5. He may have hit
No.
5.
It was 2. Was it 2 yesterday or 2 today against Baltimore? But yeah, I thought he was around
No,
the
it
4
wasn't
mark.
today. It was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Today
Yesterday.
they had Oakland.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure. I'll have a quick look in a second. Yeah, but I
Home runs. Let's have a look here.
think it's
Home
5.
runs. Mate, he has, and he's got 4. Mate, I mean, how many is Alonso and bloody Brian Reynolds going to hit? They've both got 5. Devers, Duval, Wander Franco, Judge, Luis Robert all have 4. And then you move into the 3s, and it's half of the MLB.
Franco got 4. That's pretty impressive.
That's what I'm looking at right here. 4 home runs.
Yeah, nice. That's good to see.
I'm just happy with Adley with his little 3 home runs. Mate.
Yeah.
He's on fire.
Yeah,
Could be a
he's
big
nice.
year for Pete, though.
Oh,
Yes,
coming up
yeah.
right now. This one, Big Pete. Mate, he's hit 5, as you said, Davo. Polar Bear is now the fastest player to reach 150 home runs in MLB history.
That's unreal.
Love it.
And you think he's had probably a couple of quiet seasons
Yeah.
where he hasn't really been at his best? Well, personally, I don't think anyway.
I hope
really
he comes
good
through this
seasons.
year. I'm sitting on a fair few of his rookie cards, so I hope he comes good. But mate, he's great to watch. I like his swing. And for the last couple of seasons, I've watched a fair bit of the Mets. And yeah, you're right, Randall. He hasn't done a great deal the last couple of years, but He started off with a bang this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome to see.
If he gets the hitters around him as well, like if Lindor does well, it's like he may have had quiet seasons because he hasn't had the hitters around him for that protection. So the pitchers have been able to sort of work him a bit better because there might be no one on base in front of him. So you don't know. Like, could be factors like that. So hopefully the Mets have got some hitters around him so that they have to pitch to him more.
Yeah. No, 100% agree with that. He's it's definitely been solid to watch, and it's also good seeing hitters not having that shift this year. I think that's made a bit of a difference in the way these bigger names are getting pitched at as well. It's definitely got to take that into consideration.
They're trying. Like, you can see so often that shortstop is nearly right behind second base. But was it today against the Padres? 2 swinging bunts down the third baseline that just both stayed fair somehow.
I think the first one was an actual bunt.
Yes, sorry.
The first one was an actual bunt.
Yeah, and the second one a swinging bunt. Both exact same spots. And also Mets. It was the Mets against the Padres. So,
and when you watch that ball too, you just roll back in, hit that lip of that grass, and start to go back to that foul line. It's like, oh, there it goes, there it goes. Tell you what, they must have had a nice little mound made of chalk because got to that chalk and just sort of couldn't get up and over it. So it was unreal. I love it.
Wasn't it?
I was waiting for somebody to get down and blow the ball over the foul line. Do the old John Kruk.
I think Juan Pierre used to, every ground he used to go to, he used to sort of walk out there and roll baseballs down both foul lines to see how the dirt played. So if he was to lay down a bunt, whether it would stay fair or go foul. So you love little things like that. You love people see people do that stuff.
Yeah, you can see they're thinking about it. Yeah. As an opposition team too, like that puts something straight in your head. You're playing third base or first base, and that bloke comes up to hit, and it's like, oh, am I in on the grass? Am I holding back? Like, what am I doing here? What's he going to do? Is he going to try and put a sneaky one down? Or it's good. I like it. Mind games too.
It is good. Randall, this one's for you, mate. This was down there. The Baltimore fans would love this one.
I loved it, mate. I was excited. I was watching this game. First inning home run from Mountcastle. Come home and I was waiting for the big chain to come out for him to put on the chain, home run chain, and he went down the dugout and I was like, well, where's the chain? What are they doing this year? And boom, out comes the old funnel, the old beer bong. Love it. Disappointed though that they're only putting water in there, but mate, that was unreal.
Water, mate.
I was going to say it's dirty water.
If it was me, it'd be dirty water anyway. Might have to go and offer suggestions.
We may have to implement this one for anyone that hits a single at Toronto in third grade, I think.
Anyone that hits a single?
Yeah, just a single.
Oof.
Yeah.
How about if we just get on base?
Yeah, that's it. That'll do.
If you haven't seen it, you have to chug a beer. You get the second base, you got to chug a beer. It's like, hey, we know how to play softball.
Plenty of beers getting chugged for you blokes. You know, you got to get on base to chug that beer, though, Dave.
I got on base, mate.
Randall's up there. What did you have, Randall? 2 hits? 3 hits?
I don't know, mate. That was 2 weeks ago. I can't remember that far back. But I'm pretty sure it was 2 hits.
Oh, fair enough.
I got him a walk to load up the bases for a Grand Slam opportunity.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. I just a little served one back open the centre field, mate, for a couple of RBIs.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that closes out our MLB wins of the week new segment. And we're going to continue straight on with what's happening in the MLB because we haven't talked about it enough. It's been unreal having the MLB back and watching plenty of baseball. If you didn't see that Adley Rutschman home run, go and check out the shorts. Sports Rewind shorts on our YouTube. we've got that one. But we've also got Polar Bears home run, and we've got different bits and pieces up there. So go and check them out.
It was good to see Adley actually hit one from the right side too.
Yeah.
Predominantly he's done a lot of his damage from the left side, and they're saying, oh, yeah, he might not be as good hitter from the right side, but
yeah,
it was
crushed
good.
it.
Just good to see. Yeah, didn't miss it.
Did not miss it at all, mate. Did not miss it.
And it's still not warm yet.
Still not warm?
Still not warm. It's only April still, so it's still not warm. The ball isn't still flying.
True. This is true.
There were a couple of balls hitting that game that off the bat it was like, well, that's big, and they were dying on the warning track. So
yeah, that's one of the comments I was saying is they've been battling that wall all day when I watched his home run. So I guess.
And it's still spring when Wrigley Field is the ivy hasn't come out yet. It's still just a sort of brown.
Sticks.
Yeah. I watched a bit of the Cubs game and just saw that and thought, April in Wrigley.
Yeah.
Just run into that concrete or the brick wall.
The brick wall.
Yeah. How good is it for the baseballs as well? Fantastic.
Oh,
Bit
yeah.
of damage to the baseballs every time they hit. Hey, there's been a few standout rookies this year. Now, we did touch on Jordan Walker last week. I've been watching him pretty closely this week. He's hitting 342, so he's 10 for 38, OPS of 943. He's currently on a 10-game hit streak. Now, today he passed Ted Williams. Ted Williams had the second highest number as a rookie of hit streaks of 9. So he's passed Ted Williams, and he has...
I've been 20 or under as well, too, I think it was.
Yeah, 21 and under. Sorry, 21 and
yeah.
under. And he's chasing down the record of 12 set by Eddie Murphy in 1912. Mate, I really hope he does it. And I hope he absolutely smashes it and puts on like 20 games or 30 games because he's exciting to watch.
And he's not trying to do too much with it either. He's just up there seeing it, hitting it, and just the pressure's not getting to him yet. So I know St. Louis hasn't started well as a team, but it's good to see him kick-start it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's good to see a young hitter that isn't home run or bust. They're coming up and they're back to the, as we bring up all the time, they're back to the Tony Gwynns or someone like that, where they just want to get hits. Doesn't have to be a home run.
It's fantastic.
And he's mixing in a few stolen bases too. So base hit, stolen base, it's a double.
Yeah,
the equivalent.
100%.
Another one who I hadn't paid much attention to since it started, but noticed him today for LA Dodgers. James Outman, he is absolutely crushing as well. He's hitting 310, OPS 1.287, but he's slugging 828. Absolutely killing it. You guys see much of him?
A little bit, not too much. I did see that he has hit 3 home runs though.
Yeah.
And also he's got a couple of stolen bases.
Yep.
So
he gets lost in that lineup, which is good. It's the way you want to be. It's like Dodgers have the big names, your Freddie Freemans, Mookie Betts, Max Muncy. So it's good that he can come along to that veteran lineup and just sort of bat down the order and be forgotten about and just do his own thing and show them how.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's no spotlight on him or anything like that. It just it makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Another one I've sort of looked at a little bit this week. Sort of brought to my attention one of the Brewers games. Garrett Mitchell, center fielder, 9 for 29. He's 310 average. He's slugging 724 as well. He's been in a few highlight reels as well this week. 3 home runs, I think, Randall as well.
Yep.
One was a game winner, I think.
Yep.
One or two were walk-offs, I think.
There was
that
definitely
one,
one.
but it might be 2. But yeah,
there was one on the weekend that was. Yeah, I like him. We saw a little bit of him back end of last year when he come up. Yeah, he can move too. Like he is a speedster. He can get some stolen bases too if he's on. Yeah, I've got him in a fantasy team. He was an early-ish pick for me. Yeah,
he's one of the main reasons why Brewers are 7-2.
Yep. It's definitely not for Yelich.
They've been good to watch. I've watched a fair few games of the Brewers this year. I've probably seen three games already. Yeah, great to watch.
I just want to see Brewers versus Mets so that you have Tellez and Vogelbach side by side. Pure athletes.
Yeah, I did see that. That was floating around today, maybe on socials.
Absolute athletes.
Yeah.
Did someone post that in our chat? Maybe.
No, I hadn't seen it somewhere in the last couple of days. It's like, pure something about them being athletes.
The two big units side by side.
Speaking of athletes, Van Dyke, if you're watching, mate, hello. How you doing?
Yeah,
what another athlete. Doppelganger. But, yeah. Anyone else you blokes are excited for?
There's lots, mate. There's lots. I think for me, Grayson Rodriguez gets his second start tomorrow for the Orioles. He had a bit of a rough start in his first game in the majors, but he settled in pretty quick. Yeah, tomorrow I'm excited to see what he can do against a team that isn't the Yankees. Like that's a pretty tough team to throw against. So yeah, against the A's, you could see a good number for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been enjoying sticking with my team. Cassis for Boston. Like he's coming on well this year. He's been given the chance, and he hasn't disappointed so far. To keep Bobby Dalbec out, and for them to trade away Jeter Downs, so they put faith in him. So and he's been showing up pretty well so far.
Yeah.
What about you, mate?
Mate, I've got nothing to tell you about the Giants. They've been pretty average. Yeah, there's no one hitting decent numbers. The second baseman, Estrada's going all right. I think he's played 9 games and he's hitting over 300, maybe 320 or 325 or something like that. Nothing to really write home about there, but Matt Chapman for Toronto has been awesome. Watched his first ever Grand Slam. I think it was yesterday when they won in extra innings. I think Dylan Lees is over there. That was his first MLB game he watched, and he watched his Blue Jays win in extras. So,
and a Blue Jays fan too. So he would have loved that.
The bats are starting to warm up for the Blue Jays. So
scary.
You better watch out. Like I think I had Chapman last year in my fantasy league, and always a solid third baseman. He's good defense, but yeah, get his back going. It's good to see. And once Vladdy and Springer and all those guys warm up.
Oh, well, they're already pretty hot. Like Chapman's hitting 475 with slugging 800. He's just crushing the ball. But Big Vladdy's hitting 439. Bo Bichette 362. So there's plenty up there crushing for the Blue Jays. I've only watched highlights of them. I haven't seen any of their games, so maybe I've got to put it on the list to watch them with Tampa Bay so they can get a few losses.
Yeah.
Put the Hudson jinx on them.
I'm happy with that, mate. Just, you can watch all those AL East teams. I'm sure Davo won't mind either.
Yep.
See our teams jump up that rankings a little bit.
At least Boston's still in front of Baltimore at the moment.
We should probably have another check, mate.
They're 5-5 each, aren't they?
Sorry, I checked yesterday. They were 5-4 yesterday. They lost today, 5-5. So yeah, both on 5-5.
Orioles
have got Oakland at the moment, so
yeah, hard to come back. for you blokes with Tampa
Yep.
10-0 to start the season, and having Yankees and Toronto in your division's pretty rough.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
it.
rough indeed.
But just
Second
got to
wild
hope.
card.
Just got to hope that not having to play those teams as much throughout the year and getting to play every team is something that can help us. But in saying that, you look at some of these teams like, I don't know if you plan to talk about this later or not, but the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
Like they're surprised. I think they're surprising everybody at the moment.
7-4, mate. They're
Yeah,
right up there.
like that's probably not really expected in that division.
No, and that division's really close. Where in previous years it's sort of San Diego, LA at the top, but Arizona's 7-4, LA Dodgers 6-5, San Diego 6-5, Colorado 5-6, and the Giants 4-6. Like
that's 2.5 games between first and last. Like, don't get me wrong, we are only 11 games into the season or whatever. We're only just gotten through a first week, but it is a lot tighter than I expected in some of those divisions.
Yeah,
2.5 game in that NL West, that's insane.
Yeah,
when you think about Arizona, Colorado especially, and the way that San Fran have been playing, they should be nowhere near 2.5 games out of first place.
Yeah,
you expect them more like the A's and the Tigers that were like 2-7 or something. But it's good to see. Yeah, I watched part of the condensed game of the Rockies, and Charlie Blackman's still just raking there for him, and some of the rookies are coming through pretty well. And I love the Diamondbacks' Carroll being dropped at the stadium by his parents.
Yeah,
it's like, it was like it's just reading good things like that. So
yeah, is there anyone that's surprising you at the moment, or disappointing you?
For me, surprise-wise, I think obviously Arizona, but disappointing for me, even though the Mets are only one game behind Atlanta, 6-5, I thought they would be a lot further out in front already. For that, obviously, our Detroit being 2-7, sort of picked that. 3-8 for Kansas City. The Kansas City and the Giants series, it was pretty horrid to watch. Giants end up winning 2 out of 3 games, but yeah, it was pretty average baseball. I don't know. What about you guys? Oh, the other one was Seattle. I thought Seattle might be a little bit high. I think they're 4-6 or 4-7. 4-7.
4-7.
Yeah,
I thought that would be a lot higher
for them.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think for me, Seattle was one that I was a little bit surprised that they weren't quite doing so well. The Cardinals is one for me. They are not playing good baseball at the moment. They are 3-7.
Horrible.
Like they're sitting last in the NL Central. That they have not started well at all. Very much underperforming. Still early, so they can turn that around. And probably Houston, who are 5-6.
Yeah.
Jordan did crush one today. I don't know if you saw that. Jordan Alvarez's line drive laser beam. Can't throw middle to him at 91. That's for sure.
Definitely.
But the big surprise, Tampa Bay 10-0. That's probably the big surprise for me.
Outrageous.
I'm not 100% sure who they've played though. So that would be.
I think they were Oakland. Were they Oakland for 1 or 2? Yeah, I don't know if they've played top sides yet.
Just bringing up their schedule.
Doesn't matter. They're 10-0. It's all right now.
You're right. It is the Cardinals. True. I thought they'd be a lot better than what they are. It could just be a cold start, and they'll start warming up. But they've been the main ones for us. And poor old Anaheim. I know you've read them a bit, Hudson, but I think they said they're 1 through 3 hitters in the top 3 for OPS or whatever, and the 6 through 9 are in the bottom 2 for a club. So just goes without saying what we've mentioned before. So hopefully they can turn it around.
So to be honest, with Tampa Bay, just looking at what they have done, yes, they're 10-0, but they've played the Tigers, the Nationals, and Oakland.
I was just looking at that.
So yes, they're 10-0, but the teams they're playing aren't necessarily doing all that well.
It's not the Yankees or sort of.
They're not playing the Yankees. They're not playing the Astros. They're not. They're not playing the Dodgers or.
Doesn't matter though. You still got to have 10 different starters or 5 starters twice. It's everything's got to align. In baseball, you can't win them all, and they have so far. So doesn't matter who you play. You got to go in hard at whoever you play. So
it's still 10 wins, isn't it? At the end of the day. It would have been quite easy for them to drop some of those games, and not be too worried. But and they're the ones you got to win.
162 game season. How close it's been the last few years, where it's been either won on the last day or there's teams tied and they've had a 1-game playoff. These games now, as I said, it might just be against the A's and all that. That's big come the end of the year.
Massive,
for sure.
To have 10 wins already, that could be a buffer.
Yeah.
That's 3. It's 3 swept series, so it is important, I guess.
Quality baseball. Oh, let's leave it there, fellas. It's been a big week. Plenty coming up for the weekend. Plenty of baseball, that's for sure. We'll be back next week to run you through everything in sport.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the week.